Hi everybody, my name is Aaron Schatz, and I'm here to tell you the story behind my song, I Will Meet You There. The story begins back on May 17th, 2008, which to most people is probably not a significant date, but for me and many of my friends and loved ones, it was a date that our lives changed forever. It was a Saturday afternoon in Michigan. I had just finished performing with a group that I sang with from my church called Grateful Praise. We had traveled across the state to perform for a church that was celebrating their anniversary, and we're having a great time. We were gonna get ready to go to check into a hotel and spend the night together, go out to dinner, when all of a sudden everybody's cell phone started ringing with news back from across the state saying that Dan and Jennifer Tarjeft were dead. Dan was one of our elders. Jennifer was one of our church secretaries, and they had been a part of my life probably since I was about 5 years old. I think it was around the age when they started coming to my church, and they watched me grow up. And Dan taught me what it meant to care for other people and to show God's love. And Jennifer was just the most sweet, tender-hearted person you can imagine, and would always say that, she hoped her kids would grow up to be like me. So I thought the world of them and they thought the world of me, and now all of a sudden, in just the snap of a finger, they were no longer with us. And so we decided to travel back home to be with our church family the next morning, and as you can imagine, just the grief in the air was so thick you could have cut it with a knife, as we were all just in complete and utter shock. They were actually killed on a motorcycle, and it was just an absolute tragedy all around. So, getting back to the song, flash forward 3 months later, and I was going to attend the Texas Normal Singing School for the very first time. It's a place that teaches song leaders, worship leaders, songwriters, and it's held every summer in Abilene, Texas. And because Grateful Praise, the group I sing with, kind of looked to me as the musical director, I had been attempting to take Christian songs off the radio and arrange them into 4-part harmony, but really wanted to hone my skills. And so I saw they had a songwriting course and thought, well, I can go take that course and just explain to them I'm really just here to learn how to arrange existing songs into 4-part harmony. And so I traveled down there, and my teachers, Tony and Marilyn, very first day of class, said, all right, your homework tonight is to go and write your very first verse of your song. And I said, wait, what song? I'm not here to write a song. I'm here to, and they just, go home tonight, go back to your room and write a song. So I hadn't planned on writing a song, and so I'm like, what do I write about? And so, because Dan and Jennifer had just passed away 3 months earlier, they were obviously at the forefront of my mind. And so I sat down with a piece of paper and a pen, and I put down the words, "It hurts to think of those who've gone. It hurts because I care. But I won't fret. Before too long, I will meet you there." And I stopped and thought, okay, that sounds like a verse. And so I put the paper down, and then the next day I went to class, and all of a sudden it was like God hit me over the head with a 2x4, and this melody popped in my head out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, I will meet you there. That's the catchphrase right there. That's the theme of the song. And so before I knew it, I had a second verse, and then I was writing, out on sheet music, the melody, and trying to write alto, tenor, bass. And by Thursday night at singing school, which is the last night of school, I had a finished song. And so with about 100 students there, about 20 to 30 of them volunteered to learn it, and they performed it in our evening chapel. And as I'm sitting there listening to the song being performed, I'm the only person in the room who knew Dan and Jennifer. And so obviously they were deep on my heart and I was thinking of them. It wasn't until we dismissed that night and all of a sudden I had all these people coming up to me with all these reactions that I realized, oh, I've written something universal here, something that everybody can relate to. I had one person come up to me and said, I lost my husband in a car accident. You don't understand what that song meant to me. Had another couple come up to me and said, we lost one of our members of our church in a plane crash, and that song will touch us forever. I had another guy come up to me and he just said, oh, I closed my eyes and I thought of my mother. And so I was just completely shocked and overwhelmed. And so I took my finished product back to Michigan and I taught it to Grateful Praise, and we put on a special concert and performed it in honor of Dan and Jennifer. We recorded it, we put it on our second CD, and it kind of got a little bit of notoriety around the Detroit area, but that was about as far as it got. Just passed around to friends and family and used at a lot of funerals and memorial services. But so flash forward almost 10 years later, and now I'm living in Texas, and I've recorded many albums with Acappella Praise and Harmony. I've gotten involved so much so that Keith Lancaster had me work on some assignments trying to help prepare some songs, and he was arranging a list of 25 songs for an album called Heavenly God, all songs about heaven. And he sent me a list of 25 songs and said, here, I need you to research these, find out if there's different arrangements, find out if there's different verses. And so that was kind of my job, is to start curating these songs and figuring out which arrangements and verses we're going to use. But there was one song that he requested that I found the song, but there was no four-part harmony, four-part a cappella arrangement that existed. And so I was like, you know, I can't find one for this, Keith. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. And we were deliberating back and forth. And so I decided to share with him my song. He had never heard it before. And I said, you know, I'm just throwing this out here since we're short one song. I have this song called I Will Meet You There. I sent it to him. I didn't tell him any of the story behind it or anything, and just said, I'm just throwing this out here as an option. And I really didn't expect to hear anything back, but lo and behold, I don't know, 2 or 3 days later, my phone rings and it's him, and we start talking about how the list of songs is going, and he goes, so I listened to your song. He goes, that's the 25th song that we're gonna use. And so I asked Mike Rogers, who is, if you're familiar with Praise and Harmony, you see his name on so many of the arrangements. I asked him to spruce up my alto and tenor and bass parts a little bit, and he just took those to a whole new level. And we recorded the song on the album Heavenly God. And ever since then, it's been amazing to hear stories from strangers and people that I don't know, that never knew Dan and Jennifer, but are being touched by the words, are being touched by the music, are being touched by the message of the hope that we have of seeing our friends and our loved ones again. And that's, to me, one of the coolest things about the message of the song is every time a new person passes on and goes on to heaven, the song gains more meaning, because that's another person that we're looking forward to meeting there. So I really hope that this song touches you and that it brings you comfort and peace, knowing that we will meet them there. And thank you so much for watching. And if you like the song, share it with your friends and family, and share it on social media, and let God continue to touch hearts with the message of the song. Love you, Dan and Jennifer, and I'll see you there.